Barrel Arts and Sciences Academy. Wow, it's a mouthful. What an incredible place. And I'm here to share that excitement. I will tell you this, I'm going to preface everything by, if you haven't done the application yet, and you're still thinking, do we want, is this the place for us? Is this where we want our children to go to? I asked, I think it was Oliver Wendell Holmes, somebody like that said, a mind once stretched to a new idea doesn't go back to its normal dimensions. And I guess what I mean, when I think of that quote, what I mean is keep an open mind, have questions, let us know what your thoughts are. We're also always open for feedback. Want to know, hey, how did this go? Does this work? Would this be great to be offered in a schedule? So again, it's not a matter of me just standing up here going, yeah, you should be here, this is great. We want to hear from you as well. I'm going to try to keep my talk to as much of a minimum as possible. Ms. Lyles over here is my magnet coordinator. You may see her waving violently at me or making faces because she's going to try to speed me up. And I'm going to do my best. And in the back also, let me tell you, there's not a lot of schools you can go to at 6 p.m. at night and the entire administrative team is there to tell you how awesome this school is. And I want you to take a look over. I want to introduce you. Miss Laura Watts over here is my assistant principal, and Mr. Lathan Poozer, my other assistant principal. Again, here on a weeknight when they can be home with family, not here because I told them, I didn't say they had to be here. They're here because they wanted. They love this school, they love what it stands for, and they want to share that with you. And you don't see that everywhere you go. I just wanted to point that out to you. And again, Ms. Lyles as well as our magnet coordinator. Because we're basically a program of choice. We're a program that you get to choose whether or not you want to come here. We have an actual person dedicated in that role to help us execute some of these cool programs and things that we do here at BASA. Sound groovy so far? All right. Well, wait, and there's more. Where traditions begin and legacies are built. We're a relatively new school. And so we thought that this was extremely fitting to be what we would rest our foundation on. As we enter, this is the year of our first graduating class. Traditions begin, legacies are built. To be part of something like that, even coming in while the program is still young, part of something that is unique, that you don't see everywhere else, that's a cool feeling. And I'm going to tell you, it is easy for me to just kind of keep talking and talking because there is so many cool things about this place. When I start to talk about it, I get the chills. I get the little goosebumps and the hair stands up on my arms. That's how passionate we are about what we have to offer here and how cool an education from BASA could be. Fired up. We're fired up. BASA students, they come here, they're here because they're fired up. Teachers at BASA, they're here. People want to come teach here because they're fired up. They're passionate about what they do. They're passionate about wanting to work with students and share their love of whatever their curriculum or content is. Here's things that we hope would identify every BASA student. If you're a graduate of BASA, the characteristics we hope to instill in you is to be future focused. You notice it doesn't say go to college, go to 4 years, go to a major university. No, we know not everybody is geared up for college. Not everybody knows they can make the best living by going through college. They may have a career already lined up and ready to go. We want to prepare them for that. Whether your idea is a 4-year college, 2-year, or maybe you just want to get on with a career, maybe it's military, we're going to prepare you for that. We want you future focused. We want you thinking about what life's going to be like after high school. Next, innovative, just from the name alone. We do things differently here. And that requires students to be able to approach things a little bit differently. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. There's a lot of cool things on campus here that make us unique and innovative. Responsible. That's huge. We would like that for all of our kids. We want all of our students to understand responsibility. And get this, one of the easiest signs of identifying responsibility, if you notice, the building you're in, I hadn't mentioned any even academic classes. That's a whole other building next door. That's our academic building. Well, wait, and there's more. Whole other building over there called Sims has our CTAE classes and several other courses going on in there. We have science labs in there. And wait, there's gonna be more. In about 2 years, we're gonna have our brand new BASA 2 building out back here. Updated pretty much everything. And sometime shortly after that, we'll finally get that nice large theater built here on campus. So innovative, wow, for sure. And then engaged. Our teachers produce lessons that are student-centered, that in many cases you can't help but get engaged in the lesson or the activity. Even if science isn't your thing, you'll still be engaged in that room. You'll leave there knowing, wow, something cool happened here today. I'm not going to ever go into science, not going to be, a scientist, but what happened here today was good. I was engaged, I learned something, and it's going to help me be a better person moving forward. Now, with this being said, you could go to any school here and you'll see some sort of tagline, some sort of acronym. You'll see some of this stuff. But what I really want to get into right now is what really makes us different then? If most schools have some stuff like this, how do we look different? It's how we approach teaching and learning. That brings us into that next point. Project-based, problem-based learning. The idea that you're going to solve for something, you're going to produce something unique, that your education is important enough that there are things that you can do, questions that you can answer, unique products that you can produce. And that's how we push the classes. We're on a block schedule. We're talking 90 minutes. You are not going to see one of my teachers sit and lecture for 90 minutes. It ain't going to happen. That's not the expectation. My teachers don't even enjoy that. What they want to do right away, following instructional frameworks and good lesson planning, they want to entice the students right away, get them engaged in something, get them warmed up. Hey, this is what we're going to do today. This is how it relates to what we did yesterday. Then guess what? We have a little bit of a mini lesson, and there's going to be some strategies in there that are going to allow you to talk to others and discuss the content and the material. Then we're going to give you time to work independently, work in small groups, solve something, create something. Bring it all back together. How does it, fit in with what we learned the day before? How's it going to fit in with the material for the next day? What is it that you're going to be expected to do and produce? Focusing and trying to push education a little bit more on the shoulders of our kids, so that if they're sitting side by side with somebody at an interview or a college application interview, something, or a scholarship, whatever it is, that a BASA student's going to stand out. Maybe it's going to be the extra speaking we make the freshmen do right away first year. How do you greet somebody different other than your friend, an adult in an interview situation? How do you carry on a conversation? Can you do some impromptu speaking? Kind of like if you're at, a little bit of party and you're kind of mingling with people. How do you carry on and engage conversation? Be not only an active listener, but a participant in the conversation. That's important to us. And we want to share that with you. We want to be able to say, look, if you graduate from BASA, these are some things you're going to be able to do. And that's one of them. We offer what's called crew. Back in the day, way back in the day, we had a counselor. That's about all I had. Then I went to my classes, did my day, and maybe saw them once or twice. At some of the schools, those of you are a little younger than me, you may have had an advisement class where you met with somebody once a week or something and they gave you a schedule or gave you announcements. Well, here we offer what we call a crew. Every Monday and Friday, 15 to 20 students only, small group. They're dedicated to one teacher or staff member here on campus. They meet with them Mondays and Fridays. Guess what? How was your week? How are your grades? How's your attendance? How's your behavior? Let's talk about your schedule. Let's work together as a team, do some team building stuff. That's cool and that's powerful. And we also like it because typically the crew person is not necessarily someone who is teaching the student. So that gives every child another caring adult in the building that they should be able to talk to. And we'll take it one step further, even cooler. The crew person who's in charge, the teacher, the staff member, the idea is we hope that they will follow those group group of students through to graduation. We hope that it's not, hey, I met you as a freshman, I may or may not ever see you, and then whatever happens, happens. It's a relationship built. Freshman year, sophomore year. I'd like to say we could guarantee that all the time, but that's at least our goal. Think about that, a caring adult that they should know from freshman year through to graduation. The person that they get introduced to that first day of school, or even during open house before the school year starts, going into 9th grade. Hello, I'm Mr. Sheeman, I'll be your crew chief all the way through to graduation. 4 years later, you just walk off the graduation stage. Hello, I'm Mr. Sheeman. I was your crew leader all 4 years. Here's your actual real diploma. I miss you, I love you, I wish you well. To have that relationship for those 4 years is incredible. That's the important thing about crew. Now, bring it down to expeditions. So that's Monday and Friday. So you're like, whoa, that sounds pretty cool. What do we do the 3 days in a week? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We have what we call expeditions. This is such a cool, unique concept, very unique to BASA. Expeditions is basically teachers love certain things, or they have certain passions, sometimes not always in their field of study. I have a teacher who loves to needlepoint. I have a teacher who's into Dungeons and Dragons gaming. I have a teacher who's into sustainability and also does fishing. I have teachers who their favorite thing is science, so they love to do lots of demos and stuff. So 3 days a week, students can sign up for an expedition that they're either they think they're good at, or they want to learn more about it, or they just were like, wow, this sounds really kind of cool. 3 days a week. So if you're telling me that culinary is your thing, and you want to become a top chef somewhere, I'll bet you my culinary instructor is probably offering an expeditions where they're doing some sort of cooking thing. You're into the environment, you want to talk about sustainability. I have an instructor over at Sims, he's one of my engineering teachers, runs our beehives out back. Yes, 5 beehives produce honey. Turns around, sells it here just enough so that he can keep the beehives going. He does also like lip balm and things like that. Sustainability. I have a science teacher who goes out to the pond out back and he teaches the kids about sustainability, also a little bit about fishing and whatnot and how to care for the environment. Talks about how we can keep this pond sustainable and going on and on. I mentioned other teachers, needlepoint, needle stitch, Dungeons and Dragons games, and the list goes on, and it changes. You want to do a comic book? That's a new one coming out. This teacher's looking for students who are interested in creating some sort of cool comic book, maybe Marvel style, I don't know. I have another teacher looking at, they want to have an expedition whereby students can work on community service-based projects where they can give back. It's not all about you taking from a class, it's maybe about you producing and giving something back. But the list goes on and on. That's expeditions. Now, here's the other cool thing. You're like, okay, that sounds cool, but wait, what else can you do with expeditions? If your child is struggling, whether it's a real struggle or a perceived struggle, yep, I'm looking at you, I know. If it's a perceived struggle or a real struggle, you or the teacher can sign them up for some tutoring sessions. So my math teachers offer some tutoring during expeditions. Need some extra help? Maybe you decide to sign up. Maybe you're failing and your teacher decided you're going to sign up. There's all kinds of reasons, but it's there. And to know that you have that support while you're still in high school, that's the cool thing. You still have that safety net of these teachers who love on you and want to take good care of you. Now, it sounds all rosy and wonderful, and it is. Students who are interested and willing to work with the system and do what we're asking of them love it, are successful, and some of those are our great seniors that will be having our first graduating class this year. You want to see how cool a program is, try to get a seat at graduation out at our amphitheater, which is a beautiful place out back if you haven't seen it. That's incredible. So, lots of good stuff here. So, expeditions, tutoring available, the enrichment piece, lots of cool stuff happening there. We have diverse pathways. You heard me mention the Sims building. We have culinary. If you're interested in cooking in any way, whether it's as a hobby or whether you want to go ahead and that's going to be your thing, we offer that. We have engineering pathways. We have, marketing, graphic design, healthcare. You name it, we have it. We offer a large variety of pathways, agriculture. And we put that out there so that you know that it's not all about just a driving 4 major content areas. When people think of school, they automatically think science, social studies, math, and English. There's so much more. It's hard to think that a student can come here and not like anything. There's so much to offer and so much that you can get into. It's just crazy. Class sizes. For the most part, typically slightly smaller depending on the course you're in and the level that you're in. You start to matriculate up into more advanced classes, maybe an AP class, they're going to be much smaller. Maybe in a certain CTAE pathway. The goal here too is when I mention class sizes, we're always looking to help you push yourself. I'm not saying that every student's got to leave here all AP, all dual enrollment. It's okay. If you've taken honors for a long time, let's try you in your first AP class. If you've never taken an honors class, let's find out what you love or what you're good at. Let's put you in your first honors class. If we find out what you love or what you're good at, let's find that really purposeful pathway for you. That pathway that could lead to work-based learning. Getting off campus junior, possibly senior year. Doing an internship, mentorship, maybe even getting paid to do something that you love. Those are the options that are there. And for the crowd that's out here, grandparents or parents that are my age or so, it's crazy how different it is from when we were in school. Targeted academic intervention. This is cool. You thought the expeditions was cool when you could sign your child up if they need tutoring. I have two academic interventionists, and this is what's really neat. Some schools just have one, and that person's got to do both, like math and English. Well, we know darn well from our own personal experiences, not everybody's both good at math and English. Sometimes you're really good at one, maybe not so much the other. I have academic interventionists. I have an English teacher. She teaches 2 periods, then she does academic intervention the other 2 periods. She pulls students out for help. She pushes into classrooms to help for English. I have the same thing for math. Teacher teaches 2 periods a day math. So again, they're both in the classroom. They're in the trenches. They know students. They know the teaching pedagogy. But then for that other half of the day, my math teacher is pulling students out, pushing into classes to help with math. That's crazy cool. I know what you're thinking. You're like, wow, it'd be hard. How would you fail here? You'd fail by not being properly placed. If this is not a fit for you. I will say one of the cons of a campus like this is it's a campus. It's not one building. Your child has to have some maturity. They have to have some initiative, some self-drive. Because some instances they may be going from one building here and have to get over to the 3rd building over there for their next class. And it may not be their favorite class. And so they may not want to walk as fast to get there. You see where I'm going with that? This is a place where you're a good fit for us, we're a good fit for you. You decide you want to be here, come here as a student, we embrace that. We do absolutely everything we can to enrich, to remediate, to help you find your purpose. But we need you on board as a willing participant. This is my sort of vision going forward. And this is really going to start with 9th grade next year. You may have already heard, for the last couple of years, we've had 8th graders on our campus. We will no longer have 8th graders on our campus. 8th grade will be finished back up at CFIT. So we will be 9th through 12th grade next year. And so starting with that 9th grade group, this is where our focus is. Imagine starting high school, and you don't see that at other high schools. I've done this with some other programs of choice. They need to know about themselves. Take a look up there. Imagine a theme for your freshman year. Know thyself. Learn who you are, how you operate, You know, what pushes your buttons, what gets you motivated, what gets you out of bed at day, what are you good at? So what do we want to do with you your freshman year? Help you with your organization. Every freshman needs a little bit of that, don't they? We want to be able to help you with some sort of personal legend, know thyself, hero's journey sort of storyline. We want to do U Science assessment with you. If you haven't heard of U Science, it's a quick assessment. Well, maybe not necessarily quick. It's an assessment that helps your child see what they're good at, where their interests lie, and then helps them by telling them, look, these are some career options for you. Here's some pathways for you. Maybe these are some classes you'd want to take. How powerful is that? That's cool. We want to work on speaking skills. We want to work on the possibility of having freshmen do some sort of passion project. If you're coming to BASA, you're coming here for a reason. There must be something you either like or you're good at. I talked to a family over here, their daughter's a big dancer. Well, guess what? How many schools have a dance program? Probably really none. We do. Dance studio. They perform. We have competitive dance. These guys, they do showcases. We've already had a couple this year. We've even had one where the students help direct, design, and set the entire program up. Every once in a while, we'll sit in here having lunch with the kids. All of a sudden, a little dance routine breaks out over here from our dance students. Or maybe the band comes walking down the stairs playing one of their latest creations. Or chorus is all of a sudden all over here in the corner and you didn't even recognize it until they started singing. You don't see that everywhere. That's cool. You've got to have something that you're interested in. You know, if you're passionate about something, we want to help nurture that. And that's part of what Expeditions is. You know, if you're telling me you want to create some sort of literary magazine, poems or something, let's get you in Expeditions for that. Let's get you in front of the people who can help you. Then let's have you create something. How cool is that? You're now the driver of your destiny. It's not some teacher dogmatically giving you stuff you got to memorize. It's you taking charge of your education. This is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. It goes on sophomore year. Once you know about yourself a little bit, and you feel a little comfortable about who you are, what you want to do, now how do you fit into your local community? What could you do? Is there some community service stuff you can do? Is there a community service project? Can we get out there and get you involved in some of our courses? We have a pathway called Future Civic Leaders. It's a pathway. You earn pathway credit for it, but it also gives you advanced placement AP college credit as well. And these are for students that are civic-minded. They want to become leaders. They want to give back to the community. We're the only school piloting that, by the way. That's awesome. And then, of course, developing this idea of a portfolio. If we want you to stand out when you're at that interview or that scholarship piece, or you're looking to go to a college, how cool would that be to be able to say, yep, here's my digital portfolio. This is the stuff I accomplished while I was in high school. While some of these other kids were doing who knows what at their school, this is what I was doing. This is what I created. Junior year. How then, once we've gotten to know who you are, you got a good feel for what you want to do and what you're good at and all that, and then we got you doing some community-minded work and thinking about what it's like in our local community. Now we expand that out to more of a global community. How do we get you ready for your career? How do we get you ready for a college opportunity? This could be where your capstone project starts to take shape. We offer a program called AP Capstone, and the very first course in that is AP Seminar. AP Seminar can earn you college credit, okay, which is great. But to me, this is what's more important. It introduces students to basic research skills, which they're going to have to do their whole life. How do you find information? How do you become a better speaker? Speech and debate. How do you look something up and prove whether or not it's really credible? And what do you do with that information when you find that out? Imagine being in a class where you get to pick the project and you get to spend time doing it. I know what you're saying. Wow, that sounds cool. Is there more? Oh, you betcha there's more. If you like AP Seminar, AP Research, you spend an entire semester to 3/4 of a school year researching a topic of your choice. You're creating a new body of knowledge to share with the world. And if it's good enough, it could be published, because that's your new body of knowledge. Those are the kind of students we want as graduates at BASA. Students that are thinking like this. They want something more than a traditional high school situation. But I know what you're thinking. You're like, yeah, but you don't have a football team. Don't need a football team to be a stellar high school. But guess what? We offer pretty much everything else. Cross country has won numerous awards. We have received so many awards and trophies so far that we weren't fast enough to get a trophy case built. And so all these trophies line our windows in our front office as you walk by later, fully covered. Our volleyball program, softball, baseball, cross country, you name it, we have it. You don't like an actual sport like that, you know, competitive cheer, competitive dance, swim. We have it. We may not have the football, but we have a heck of a lot of other really cool, great things happening here. Senior year, Catalyst. We want to help your child grow into adulthood. How do you get ready to become an adult? Well, usually it's by watching or tutoring under somebody who can kind of model that, show you what's going to happen in real life. Maybe it's helping you with finances. Maybe it's helping you nail down that job that you're going to interview for. Finalizing your portfolio. If you're in the capstone program, sharing a capstone experience. If you're going to be at BASA for 4 years, you should have something to show for it when you leave. Imagine having a capstone night where you're giving the presentation of, you know, this is who I've become. You'll notice up here, the last word, legacy. You know, most kids go to high school, they graduate, they move on. Here, we look at it as, what are you going to leave behind? It's not about me, it's not about the teacher stuff. What are the students going to leave behind? What's their legacy going to be when they graduate from BASA? Because that's really what it's about. You'll notice up here also mentorships and internships. Students nowadays, especially here at BASA, you could accelerate and you could actually probably graduate early. You'd have enough credits. We don't push that. And I hope some parents would agree. There are so many cool opportunities. See what is offered at high school. Don't graduate early. Enjoy your high school experience while you can. The dances and the camaraderie and the friendships. But maybe do an internship or a mentorship, work-based learning. Get off campus for a little bit, but still be part of the family. You know, again, that comes from individual counseling. It's not just my counselors who talk with your children about what they could and should do. You have the crew leaders, another adult talking to them about their future. You have the admin team. We work closely with the counseling staff to work with students to figure out, hey, what's best for you? What do you want to do? This you can see at most schools. It's for the most part, it's typical of what a potential schedule could look like, 9th grade, 10th grade, and so on. But what I really like to point out is if you look to the right and down, where the schedule really starts to open up, taking dual enrollment classes, taking advanced placement classes. I bet you that we probably offer an advanced placement college level course where you can earn college credit here by a BASA teacher. I'll bet we offer something for everybody. Either you're going to be interested in it or it's something that you're already good at, you have an aptitude in. And we like to help you explore those options. Work-based learning is listed. Multiple pathways are listed. Let's say you're good at multiple things. You think you want to go into nursing or a doctor, let's get you in the healthcare pathway. But you're also like, but you know what, I'm kind of a tech guy, I like to do the drones and stuff. We have the engineering pathway. We even have a drone class. So we can speak to your different talents and interests. That's another thing that makes us unique. Eventually, we'd like to, as we iron out our full vision long-term, thematic type units, like I mentioned. Freshman year, know thyself. Learn about who you are. What do you stand for? What are you good at? Theming things out. Imagine your freshman year, the theme is know thyself, hero's journey. Imagine going to your classes where the teachers are mentioning that. And and talking about that. Now you're starting to see where science ties into math, ties into English. That's a hope for us. That's not concrete yet, but that's where we're looking to go. Imagine a place where your classes seem to make sense together. We do have expectations. We expect some things from students. We want them engaged. We want students to participate. We want them to have real-world conversations. We expect students to become empowered. We expect them to communicate. We expect them to become confident, successful, capable, skillful. But then we also have some expectations for you, parents, guardians. We want you to be active. It's not a one and done. We don't want to see you when you bring them to open house freshman year and then again at graduation. We want you to be part of the narrative, part of the story, part of the journey. We also encourage and want to empower you to help your child engage in classes and extracurriculars. We really have found out, this is total, makes sense, that if you're engaged in things other than just the classroom, you're going to be that much more successful and that much more productive. Finding something that you feel like you fit in. And we see that day in and day out here with students. And then, of course, it wouldn't be complete without us promising what we expect. We're going to foster this holistic approach. You heard me mention it before. It's not a matter of just teaching the content. Are we meeting your social emotional needs? Are we helping you not just be a student in my content area, but a student of life, a student of the community? That's what we hope to achieve. We want to prepare you not just for college, but for career. Not just career, but for college. We're open to that discussion either way. We want to provide relevant learning experiences. I want my teachers teaching lessons that are engaging, that they're active, that students are discussing content and how they fit into it. How does this fit in and be relevant with the life I'm experiencing right now? That's what we expect of ourselves. We hold high expectations for ourselves. Timeline. You're at the meeting tonight. Some of you have already filled out the application or enrollment interest form. The deadline for that is the 27th of January. It'll close completely. All the applicants, the enrollment applicants will be looked at, district offices involved in that, and then notifications will start to go out. Hopefully all of it will be done by February 1st. Students and parents will be notified, hey, we'd love to have you, congratulations. And then for all those who receive a notification saying, yes, we look forward to having you at BASA, we'll have another meeting on February 8th to go over potential schedules. What is it that your child had in the school where they were at before? What is it that you think they need for this coming school year? We'll start to at least put that on paper so that we can start to map out what your child's success plan will look like. And that's a lot of fun. To be able to sit and go, okay, this is what I'll be looking to take next year, maybe even the following year. Now, what's your plan look like? And then, of course, we're hoping we get some funding. We really would like to run some kind of boot camp stuff in the summer. Not that it'd be mandatory, but a way to say, hey, welcome, team building, or, ooh, we know you're coming to BASA this year. You've indicated that you struggle a little bit in math. Let's get you in to have a little bit of fun and maybe do some basic skill building or something. We're trying to put something in the works to introduce you in a good way to BASA. Maybe it's a team building scavenger hunt, something that says, hey, welcome, we'd love to have you, we look forward to working with you. So that's kind of where we're at. I know I spoke definitely way much longer, but I think Miss Lyles fell asleep back there because she never once indicated to me to speed up or slow down. I'll open up the floor to questions, and we'll do our best to answer anything. If you don't want to ask something in this bigger room, you're more than welcome. Stick around as people start to fade out. You can hit any one of us and ask questions to us individually. If you'd like a little more individual attention, that's what we're here for. We want to make this as open as possible.